Celia Poag has been present in my life since elementary school. And when she first came to St. Mary's High School, I didn't even recognize her. Her hair had changed from a bright blonde to a brunette, and at the very least, I was astonished. She became a passionate writer and incredibly funny. She also changed from the sweet kid on the soccer field to an even sweeter friend now. So without further ado, here is the one and only Celia Castle Poag.
To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, let it go. Although the poet Mary Oliver wrote these words about her clashes with death within her own experience, I want to reshape them a bit to fit mine. I want to take these words and fit them to pieces of my own life, to use them to come to terms with my own emotions. They perfectly describe my experience with poetry. Loving what is mortal is easy enough. There is such beauty in all things around us, from the birds singing on the tops of their trees to the spider carefully weaving her web in the corner. The mastery of the world around us is not hard to appreciate. There is beauty in everything if you search for it carefully enough. Oliver next advises to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. I do this by creating poetry out of everything I see. I write my poems knowing they mean so much to me, knowing they stitch the fabric of my own being together. I pour emotions and vulnerability into them. I hold them dearly against my bones. The first two steps, to love what is mortal and to hold it against your bones, are the easy part. The difficult step is what comes next. When the time comes to let it go, let it go. Being vulnerable and letting vulnerability flow out of you and into the ears of others. That is the most terrifying part of it all. Poetry is meant to be shared, but inconveniently, that is also the hardest part of writing it. I've written poetry for a long time. For most of my writing experience, there was no letting go involved. It was just my long Word document and I, huddled together in my bedroom, writing about the mortal world together. Headphones loud and door closed, I held on tight to whatever I put down on the page. The whole cycle was working terrifically until I took Miss Ray's poetry class the second semester of my junior year. For the first time in my life, I had to share what I had written, to spill my feelings out for the world to hear. There were only about 10 people who would hear, but it felt like my work was being broadcast to millions. My best work is always the product of my deepest, most intense feelings. Sharing these with the class was not what I wanted to do. Before reading day, I'd give a disclaimer. These are not my real feelings. Everything is okay. This is just for class. Of course, this was a lie, but it was too terrifying to face the prospect of the truth. I didn't give these disclaimers because I was ashamed of my work, but rather the opposite. I was proud of it, but the vulnerability involved in my very best work wasn't something I wanted to grapple with. In reality, I was scared of being known. These disclaimers gave me peace of mind for a good bit of the semester. That is until Virginia, a fellow poetry class member, took the liberty of telling me the disclaimers were entirely unbelievable. She meant it to be funny, but it really did cause me to make a decision. I would face my vulnerability head on, no disclaimers proceeding. These feelings I'd been holding on to were difficult to let go of, but I knew if I wanted to live in this world, as Oliver says, I needed to let myself go, unguarded and unarmed. The time had come to let it go, and so I did, and I urge you all to do the same. One of the most difficult things to do in this life is to be vulnerable. I struggle with it. Do not let the ease of Oliver's first two steps, to love what is mortal and to hold it against your bones, discourage you from reaching for the third. Find what you love, embrace it, and when the time comes to let it go, you must let it go. Thank you.